Hello guys, welcome back to another stream. So today's gonna be a little bit of a special stream because we are actually gonna be checking out some scenery after a long time from StarSim. And this time we're gonna be checking out, last time we checked out St. Louis, his St. Louis rendition for X-Plane 11, but this time we're gonna be checking out his Philadelphia for X-Plane 12. And we're gonna be flying in from Boston, so it's gonna be a really short flight. This is actually short final designs freeware Boston, which is insane, by the way. I would highly recommend you go check it out and download it. But we're going to be flying the American Airlines A319 American Airlines colors today, and the baby bus down to Philadelphia. And honestly, I've checked it out before, and Philadelphia so far, it's relatively new scenery. It came out about a month and a half ago, and it's really really good in my opinion. It's something that he basically filled every single necessity that a scenery requires nowadays. Good ground textures, high quality modeling, texturing, PBR, accuracy, basically it's all there. But we're going to be checking out the scenery in detail today, at night actually, so it's going to be a fun flight. It's going to be really short as well. So, yeah, Bernard, welcome aboard. Thank you for coming. Oh my goodness. So, I apologize. I think my freaking mic is way too loud. Okay, there we go. So, now that we got that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and set this thing up. Yeah, I can barely even see. Okay, there we go. External power, battery 1 and 2 on. Our dome lights are partially on. Let's brighten those up. So yeah, so we have our flight plan on our Avatab charts folder. We're basically just gonna pull that up and go from there. So now it's so much faster to scroll these to their respective positions. And let's bring the deers over to the align mode. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this cabin also got like a little bit of a texture overhaul for the X-Plane 12 upgrade. So I'm actually kind of excited for that. To be, I think that was on the Neo actually, but I hope that they eventually upgrade their A319's textures, because those Neo textures look insane, to be honest, and it would be really cool if the A319 also had them. But yeah, Bernard, thank you for helping along today. Yes, it is a nighttime stream, so sorry not sorry, EU viewers, but this is basically the only time which I could stream today. It was a very busy day for me. Okay, I also haven't streamed in a couple weeks, so might as well do a short flight. What a nice plane. Yes, it definitely is an amazing aircraft. A lot of people would agree with me on that, and some may not, but I personally really enjoy the smooth flying experience and the fidelity of the airplane itself. Really good. But yeah, so actually we've never checked out the ToLiss in X-Plane 12. It actually has this new EFB tablet where you can put all this stuff in. For weight and balance, like you don't have to bring up your ISCS anymore. It's like, this is the ISCS screen, but you don't actually have to bring it up anymore, I think. Or maybe you do. I don't know. So, like, let's try to load the payload information on here. I'm not sure exactly how that works because there's no load button anywhere. It's just... You know what? Let's just use the ISCS screen. And I'm going to bring my side stick down here, because I did not have it down here. It's on my desktop, but it wasn't actually on my desk, Alright, there we go. That works fine. I also have my entire Bravo setup basically. And yeah, so let's take a look at the information. So it's going to be about 6.2 thousand kilograms of fuel required. A whole 1,000 fuel of reserve as always. 1200 for the forward and 2100 for the aft cargo. And for passengers, we're gonna do, let's just do like 94. And let's go ahead and apply and fuel the aircraft. And now let's go ahead and switch on our fuel pumps. And let's turn on our no smoking emergency exit lights. Go ahead and arm those. Beacon and nav and logo lights on. I always turn on my beacon lights like at the beginning. So yeah, it doesn't really matter though. Some people turn it on like right before pushing back. Are you flying with a joystick or with the alpha yoke? Well, I'm flying with a side stick today because it's Airbus. It would honestly be sacrilege to fly the Airbus with the yoke. I mean, if you want to do that to yourself, go ahead, but I wouldn't encourage it. So Boston to Philadelphia today, the flight number is going to be American 1394 if I recall, which that's correct. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Cost index 25, we're cruising at flight level 320. Actually our cost index is 31, so we have a specific cost index. And we're going to align the IRS, and we're going to go to the init B page, and I think this doesn't autofill. Nope. So we're going to head over to the ISCS again, and it's going to be 53.5 / 29.0 for the center of gravity. And for the block fuel, we're going to have 7.2 thousand, which is gives us about 1,000 kilograms of reserves. And we're going to be departing at runway 9 today via the SOX SITS departure. So the SID is going to be SOX SITS, and the transition is going to be SOX, which should already be there. Instead of going straight to rifle, we're going to do Quebec 167 for the airway. And whoops, my bad. And rifle for the direct waypoint. Basically, just gonna do that. Bam, and then Q839, Q439. Just gonna put the rest of them in here. 2 Briggs. That would be weird. What joystick do you? I use the TCA joystick, so the TCA side stick. Would I recommend it over the 3D? Honestly, I was thinking of doing a review on like comparing the TCA and the Extreme 3D Pro, because I have both. I haven't used my Extreme 3D Pro since like December 2021 or something, but to be honest with you, it really depends on what you're looking for. I'm not like a real Airbus pilot, obviously. I'm literally 16, so, but yeah, you already know that. You wouldn't assume that I'm a real Airbus pilot, but in my opinion, it feels a little bit too, you know, the force feedback isn't the greatest. It's a little bit wobbly. I don't know. Like when it came out, there was a lot of hype around it, but like now that I'm like an actual user of it, I would much rather have something like the new honeycomb Foxtrot that should be coming out some point. Like there was a lot of speculation of it being ready for pre-order last year, but you guys know honeycomb, they have like 50 products down the line, especially the ones that they announced at the Expo. So we're not going to expect any of those anytime soon, because they've got a ton of stuff on their plate right now. So like, but like when the Foxtrot comes out, you guys rest assured I will buy it. I am not gonna pass on that. Like I've been waiting for a good side stick for a while, and the Foxtrot's definitely looking super promising, in my opinion. So yeah, that is the current situation right now. But I mean, it's not a the TCA, it's not a bad side stick. Like, it's just like the average side stick that you're probably gonna need for flying Airbuses and stuff. I really like how practical it is in terms of, you know, that you can set it up for left or right-handed. I'm left-handed on the Airbus, of course, since I'm sitting in the captain's seat. I also don't have any space on my right-hand side. I have my mouse, so, and then my Bravo is like to the other side, so I don't really have an option. I have to use it on my left side. But if you wanted to use it on your right side, it's like very practical because you can switch around the stuff basically. So, oh, and we've got some rain effects going on there. That's pretty cool. It's raining. It's gonna be a rainy departure out of Boston. I love rainy departures. So yeah, we're gonna set our cruising altitude. It's gonna be 320. Basically gonna get the APU started up. I know it doesn't say flap open yet, but screw it, you know. We're just gonna get that sorted out before we push back. And I think we're pretty much all set in terms of the aircraft setup itself. I'm probably gonna go ahead and set mode Charlie from now. I mean, we're not flying VATSIM. We will soon, by the way. How much is the TCA? It's a little bit more. It's not that much more than the Logitech Stream 3D. It's like $80. But it's like a more personalized side stick. It's a little bit weird. Like, for example, the throttle has like, they painted as if it had reverse thrust detents, but it actually doesn't have any, which is like a little bit pointless in my opinion, but it's not a big deal. But in terms of how the actual side stick feels, I would say it feels pretty nice. Pretty nice, yeah. Let's just use the manual wheel. It's so much faster than my physical panel. It's supposed to mimic like a realistic feel of the Airbus. And it also has, like, you could also buy the Airbus throttle quadrant. Was that 29 or 87? I don't think I heard that right. Well, we'll listen to the ATIS in a bit. By the way, how does this stream in terms of lag? No lag or anything? Okay, yeah. Because like last week, it was being kind of stupid with the freaking lag for some reason. Like the bitrate is totally fine. So now I lowered it a little bit, and hopefully that fixed it. But yeah, so we're pretty much ready to push back. We're gonna just start this. Pretty sure runway 9 is that direction, so let's get our chocks out of the way. Pretty sure those are on. Yep. And let's get our external power disconnected as well. And turn on our fasten seatbelt signs. We're pretty much ready to push back. Oh, yep. I gotta change this. There we go. There's a bit of a discrepancy between the standby and the, but it's only by like a single inch off. So, well, not an inch, but like a mini inch, whatever that is, of mercury. It's not a big deal. It's just one number off. But yeah, honestly, I would recommend checking out the TCA. Like, you might be interested in that, but of course I would personally say it's not for everyone. It's not like a multi-purpose. I mean, yeah, it kind of is, but I don't know. I would technically consider, like, if you're a beginner, I would say that like the Stream 3D Pro that you already have is better. Cause like you can feel a little bit of everything. You can feel a little bit of fighter or commercial aircraft sight stick feel.
Here comes the pushback. Light 'em up.
You know, and it also is very practical because its throttle thing is super cool, or well, super useful. At least when I had it, like I had no throttle quadrant, and that throttle thing is so easy to use. Like, it's not that awkward on your hand or your fingers or anything. So I personally think it's the 3D Pro. Like, if you have a 3D Pro, yeah, exactly. Like, if you don't have a yoke, I wouldn't recommend upgrading your sight stick just yet. I would recommend getting a throttle quadrant or a yoke. Because like the TCA, like I fly Airbus mostly. Like when I use a sight stick, I rarely ever fly GA sight stick aircraft. So for my purpose, I mean, I also wanted to try it out myself, rather than, it wasn't really much of a specific interest, you know. It was more of a, I want to try this out, right? It's like I'm not all that interested in specific Airbus branded products, although I do love Airbus and love flying Airbus, but I'm more in for the effective, practical, multi-purpose hardware, because you can use it for more things, basically. Why are my dome lights still on? No, they're not. Captain Lee, welcome. P3D is funk, cool. Yeah. How has that been working out for you?
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
These are default these are default ToLiss sounds, by the way, guys, so there's so many ground vehicles just ramming the aircraft. I'm not sure if the gen's tripped yet. It's working great. I'll send you pics when I get up in the air. Cool. Okay, well, APU off. Go ahead and turn on the nose taxi lights and what else? Auto brakes, mats, and takeoff and fig. I'm pretty sure all I need to do is check the cabin. Oh, never mind. I forgot my entire freaking flap system. Okay. Alright. So there's that. Flaps are coming out, and now we should just check the cabin. Okay, cool. So we're gonna check the cabin once we're about to hold short. But basically, we're at Boston, runway 9, or I think it's this one down here. Pretty sure. Wait, no, that's 14. That's 14. This is 4 left. This is probably 9. Yeah, this is runway 9. So it's basically, we're basically gonna, so we're right there. We just gotta cross 4 left, basically, like right behind it, and then approach 9. Yeah. Okay, cool. Alright. Let's bring up that power. Use charts, Captain. I don't have Navigraph. This is literally my workaround to not having Navigraph. I'm also not bothered to go find charts for Boston, so you know, might as well just memorize the tattoo route. It works every time. Tomorrow, actually, yeah, that's a good reminder. Tomorrow, I'm gonna get a Navigraph, and I'm gonna use charts for the next stream, because I still have to get a Navigraph for VATSIM. Because like, I don't know, like, has anyone ever done VATSIM without chart like Navigraph? Because like, you don't have necessarily the most updated IREC, so you could easily run into issues. You know, Flight Plan Go is your best friend. Yeah, I guess so. I've used Flight Plan Go before. But it's not like I'm gonna set up and the entirety of Flight Plan Go when I'm just gonna get a Navigraph. Like, why would I do that? Yeah, I have never gone on VATSIM without Navigraph, and I can safely say, I'm not even talking from experience, but just don't even try it. Like, it's such a dumb idea that you're probably gonna run into so many problems, especially when it comes to like waypoints and navigation data, because like you're probably gonna run into like a waypoint that's outdated or something. Or you're probably not going to be able to even follow proper ATC instructions regarding navigation, because like it's all going to be wrong. And you're also not going to have charts. That's a huge downside. So we're right behind the threshold here, and runway 9er should be right up ahead there. There it is. So we're on Kilo right now. Yeah, IRAC not up to date. Yeah, never. That's never good on VATSIM. You never want to run into that type of problem on VATSIM. Should have a takeoff normal, and we're gonna enter the runway. Okay, we got our strobes on. Okay. Oh. Well, I guess we're gonna kind of have to backtrack. Alright. That's no problem. So, let's make sure that we're good. Pretty sure we are ready to get rolling. Pretty much just gotta hit that chrono button and we will be off the ground. There we go. There we go. Auto brake mats, ignition mode norm. I can't quite figure out what it is that I think it's the floodlights. Pretty sure. Hold on. Or it's my reading light. Alright, anyway. Bring it up to 40. And Toga. Is the volume on the sim too low, or is the volume fine? Yeah, 80 knots. From what I can tell on Streamlabs, I think the volume somewhat matches the volume of my microphone, so I'm going to assume it's fine. B1, rotate. Beautiful. Positive rate. Gears coming up. And we're off. Yep, that's our departure. Looking out the window on departure is so awkward, but sometimes I want to do it. Alright, we'll get to green dot and then we'll turn on the autopilot. Alright. Yeah. We're basically not really hand flying this thing for that long. It's gonna be a really short, really short flight. It's also gonna be a pretty swift climb because you can see on the 20-mile radius, our top of climb was basically actually on our 80-mile radius. Oh, that's a decently. Also turn down the LCD screens. Okay, please don't go above 100. But 160 knots when you're 2 miles from the airport. When I fly the ToLiss, I really can't bring myself to fly the airplane unrealistically. Like, when I'm flying every other plane, like the Boeing or the A300, I'll fly it as unrealistically as I possibly can. But when I'm flying the ToLiss, it's just really hard. It's just more enjoyable when I fly it properly. Turn down the LCD screens. Like that? Why? Meh. I like to keep them nice and bright, but I guess I could turn them down a little bit, like around that. There we go. About half of that strength should suffice. There we go. Happy. Cool. Okay, so let's take a look at our flight plan real quick. So it's pretty simple. Once we level off, I mean, once we're at Jester, we'll take a look at the rest of the plan because it's pretty much just a straight line. Just a straight line towards Philly. Okay, if it's a little too dark, then let's do 75%. How's that? 75% strength. I think that's perfect. Okay. So, okay, we're past 10,000 feet. Landing lights can come off. We're pretty much leveling off here, so seatbelt signs can come off too. I can't do bright screens at night time, gives me a headache. I mean, honestly, it depends on the length of the flight. I don't mind them. Or well, it's more that I'm not used to flying the ToLiss at nighttime. Like, I'm very used to having these screens turned all the way up because it's daytime. 75%, honestly, like 100% strength is a little bit too irritating. You're right. It's a little bit too much, but yeah, okay. So we're at about 327 miles away, so it should be less than an hour of flight time, like probably 30 to 40 minutes. It's not going to be a long flight at all. Should I shuffle my streams playlist? I have 43 minutes of music. That's nothing. 43 minutes of stream music. Would you look at that? Some of these songs are like, they take me back to my Infinite Flight days. They're so old. I added them like so long ago. Finally getting all my sceneries installed on P3D. Had to email hi-fi for my active Sky stuff. Stupid license key. Wait, what? It's like, are you having issues on P3D or at Splane? Because active Sky is at Splane. Also, my Islander stream is popping off for some reason. Like, if you check out how many views it has right now, it has like 256 views. Like, I don't understand why I have so many people checking that stream out. Like, it's kind of weird. Kind of weird, to be honest. Oh, we're past transition altitude. Set it to standard on all of them. I haven't linked my barrows. P3D, active skies both on P3D and AtSplane. Oh. But you said we didn't need more add-ons. Other than Orbets, LC, World, Earth or something. It's like Orbets, the Orbet scenery is like $35. And then you've got Active Sky, which is like another $35. So now that we're past Jester, let me show you guys how it's gonna look for today. So basically, we're within 240 miles of Philadelphia's runway 9 right. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty. Like honestly, I think the descent's gonna be pretty steep, from what I can see here. Open LC, active sky, that's really okay. Well, to be honest, I've never really thought, like I always saw people streaming P3D, and I always like saw and wondered like, how does a simulator have this high of a fidelity, you know, systems wise for aircraft? It's kind of cool, to be honest. And I mean, P3D was developed by Lockheed, which is an aircraft manufacturer, so I guess that kind of explains why they're so, you know, everything's so accurate and stuff. But and at Splane we don't really get that good of systems. I mean, unless you buy the Hot Start Challenger, that's pretty much as good as it's gonna get. I don't even know if P3D has add-ons as good as the Challenger. I don't own the Challenger, but from what I've seen, it's like, it really looks like it's worth every single penny, to be honest. I've considered buying it at some point. Most of airliners, no, not G8. Yeah, well, honestly, it's kind of strange. Like, I wonder why at Splane add-ons don't have like that much fidelity. Like what holds at Splane back? Because like at Splane is also notorious for its realistic flight model in terms of physics, and we also have pretty good airplanes. But airliners are what we're not the best in, to be basically. Right now, MSFS with PMDG 737, that's pretty much the only good thing about it in terms of add-ons, aircraft add-ons, and the Phoenix, I think. A2A is fantastic in P3D. So like, it's like, what aircraft does P3D ship with? Like, you see how X-Plane ships with a default A330 and stuff, and the 737 and stuff like that. Like, what does P3D have? Well, isn't A2A doing stuff for MSFS as well? Like, you showed me the other day, like, and I was like, that's MSFS, that's not P3D. That wasn't a P3D preview, right? Doesn't really ship with anything good if you're wondering. Kind of have to buy a plane. Oh. Well, what does it ship with, though? Like, is it just military aircraft or something? Like, and do those aircraft even work? Like, does the aircraft that P3D ships with are those even good? Like, or are they pretty much the same as X-Plane default? Because, like, honestly, X-Plane default is kind of stepping its game up, especially with the new SR22 and the Laminar A330 upgrades. So I was wondering if maybe P3D, if like with what is shipped, it was at least at that level, you know. So we are just about, P3D has the extra, a few fighter jets, some bush planes. Oh, okay. But are they any good? Like what level are those airplanes? Because it would be kind of ironic if they weren't good, because if P3D ships with such a high fidelity system for aircraft development to the point where most payware aircraft that even exist across simulators, most add-on aircraft that are actually considered like the most accurate and the most, you know, realistic, pinpoint accurate realistic aircraft or P3D aircraft, it would be kind of ironic if they weren't great. It's like, I don't know, they're actually fun to fly. Okay, cool. I wonder what like the main like how do you feel when flying in P3D? Like, cause you're an avid X-Plane user. So like, how does it compare to flying in X-Plane? Like how like what difference do you feel? Like what do you notice? Like, for example, flying the 737 in X-Plane in comparison to flying the 737 in P3D. but like I'm saying, like the Zebo and the PMDG, like personally, if I do the same thing on both airplanes, what difference should I expect if it's the same thing? Kind of. Like, I'm not saying the Zebo and the PMDG are the same. The PMDG is probably way better, but like, what difference do you feel like? Now that I know that you've flown both, but like, how can you tell that the PMDG is better? That's my question. Okay, then I might. Okay, it's like I might pick up the PMDG for Microsoft Flight Simulator and check it out like on stream or something, and give you guys my impressions on it. Cause like the 737 is like it's such an iconic aircraft, and it's so fun to fly for me. Like, it's something I absolutely love to fly, and like it's fitting for every occasion basically where I want to fly a commercial aircraft. It's like, you know, that's why I asked that question, because like the possibility of flying a 737 in Microsoft Flight Sim that is better than the Zebo is quite tempting, to be honest. Because like right now, like, I've never flown anything better than the Zebo when it comes to the 737. Because basically the only simulator in which I've ever flown a study level to 737 was here in Esplane, and that was the Zebo 737. But the PMDG is a payware aircraft, which is obviously way better. Well, according to you at least. So, and according to a lot of people as well. So, you know, it's been something I've considered for a while. But you know, just because I can, you know, fly and not plane, it's the same aircraft. I've kind of hesitated. So did you pick up the PMDG 747 right after you picked up the P3D B5? Because honestly, flying the 747, like a really good version of it, that is not the Sparky 747, would be a dream come true. It's the 747 and the 777. That would be great. And the airport is just about 160 miles. Nope, 218 miles within range. I've had everything I installed. So like, how did you have that stuff installed? Like, did you have P3D before or something? And you deleted it or something? Also, there's another negative. Yeah, I just saw the pics you sent me. But like, I've heard that whenever P3D makes a new version, like V5, V6, I think the add-ons, like the previous like P3D V4 add-ons, are completely and absolutely not compatible with P3D V5, which is pretty crazy. It makes me wonder how they changed the oh, you had V4? Oh, cool. It makes me wonder, like, what they changed in the simulator infrastructure to make it look like that, you know, or to have the, like, or to mess up compatibility like that. Like, that's the only downside, I'd say. Because even for VSITs users, I think there's no point in buying VSITs because, like, well, at least according to the information. Okay, gotcha. That makes more sense. So V4, V5, because they switched to DirectX 12. But then how do you have the PMDG 747? Like, did you just rebuy it or something? I turned up simulator sounds a little bit more. Oh, okay, yeah. I remember when X-Plane 11.5 came out. I do remember that, and it did really break everything with Vulkan. But it didn't completely destroy the add-ons. Yeah, I know. That's why I said there's literally no point in, at least in my opinion, to buy P3D VSITs, because there isn't, I don't think at least, that there is any dev that is currently even working in the P3D scenery or aircraft market, so. Vulkan broke. Yeah, but I'm talking about scenery. I don't think Vulkan broke scenery. At least not that I remember. I'm pretty sure it did break some aircraft. I remember having issues with ToLiss specifically. But yeah, we're gonna be starting descent within 80 miles, by the way, so we're gonna start entering some information once we hit descent. Yeah, scenery, I recall that it did not, and actually, I had a MacBook, so on my 2012 MacBook, poor thing, the metal drivers did not did not make my frame rates any better. In fact, they broke my frame rates. So metal on Mac with that 11.5 upgrade was completely pointless for me because it just didn't work at all, like at all. V5 broke scenery because they switched to 3D vegetation and such. Okay, well, yeah, it's not like any developer really does anything for P3D. Like, P3D barely has any market anyway. It says enter destination data, but we're just gonna ignore the plane. We're just gonna ignore the plane for now, since we don't actually need to enter any destination data until To be honest, it doesn't really matter if I do it now or later. It's just gonna be a little bit more work to do it later. Okay, so do you mean P3D to MSFS? Cause I'm pretty sure it was the other way around. Okay, to MSFS from P3D. Okay, I read that wrong. I thought you said to P3D. No, from MSFS to P3D. Okay, yeah, that was my bad. I read that wrong. But I wonder how the market was pre-MSFS for P3D users too. Like, I wonder if it just completely died, like, entirely. Because it hasn't, like, you shouldn't really expect P3D's market to even be that. Like, if right now there's absolutely no market, or very, very tiny, tiny little market for P3D, I can't imagine what it was before MSFS released. I personally would imagine that it was a little bit better, but I'm not sure to what extent, up to what extent, you know. So that's kind of why I asked. P3D had a better market than Xplane. I highly doubt that. Cause like, if P3D had a better market than Xplane, then how did Xplane not die first? Like, what kept Xplane alive? Cause remember, Xplane 12 had just come out last year, August. So like, it wasn't Xplane 12 hype at all that kept Xplane alive, because a lot of people still used Xplane 11 regardless, and we still didn't really have any set like release date for 12, at least back then. So like, how did the P3D market just die like that fast? Like, if the P3D market was better than Xplane's pre-MSFS, I would assume that the P3D market is better right now than it is with Xplane. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude. The INI builds A300. That was a massive freaking release. That was insane. Like, I'm pretty sure that made a lot of people switch from P3D to Xplane, because that alone, that INI builds A300 release was pretty insane. So yeah, you're right. So like, I think over time, people started switching to Xplane, yeah. But it's pretty crazy how fast P3D lost all their market. Like, what did they do wrong to lose so many people? It's pretty crazy if you really think about it, you know? Although honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Um, okay, so one thing. Okay, remind me to do a long haul on the on the laminar research A330. Cause I have to try that thing out. Like I really have to. Um, I have to fly the A330. Probably gonna be something like JFK to Dublin or something, or Philadelphia, or I think that's actually perfect. Philadelphia to Dublin, because I have Boundless Dublin installed, I think, on my computer right now. Let me check. Yeah, I do have it installed. I purchased it last year, and it is, from what I saw in the screenshots, pretty freaking good. Or you know what else we could do? We could do some EU hops, like with Ryanair. You know, the Ryanair 737. That would be pretty cool. And then fly into Dublin. I wonder if Orbitz covers that part of the UK. I'm pretty sure it does. Like, well, no. Actually, hold on, let me check the map. Because that's Ireland. That's not the UK. It's Ireland. It's like not part. I'm pretty sure it's not part of any Orbitz, coverage. So, I mean, although I wouldn't be surprised if Orbitz had some scenery for Ireland, like True Earth, Great Britain South, and True Earth, Great Britain North. But unfortunately, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research, and either way, no True Earth products are officially compatible with at Splane 12 anyway. Like, the devs have to do something about that. Eventually. So the final approach altitude. So ASOS. Let me take a look. Yeah, honestly, I have heard rumors about the FS Lab sounds not being great. Okay, so it's gonna be 1,800 feet. If we set, I think we can deal with low auto brakes. We'll hold up just fine. And yeah, we haven't hit TOD just yet. We are about to. Once we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and engage our manage the descent. But yeah, we're coming into Philadelphia about 115 miles out. 115 miles north. Oh yeah, okay, so hear me out. Any sounds, literally any aircraft sounds, are better than the ToLiss. You can't go against that. you can't tell me otherwise. Come on now. Like, literally every other aircraft developer has probably done a better job than the ToLiss on terms of sounds. Of engine sounds and stuff like that. I don't know why, like, I wish sounds were better. But honestly, like, sounds play such a huge role in immersion. Let's go ahead and descend. So it's gonna be pretty steep. Not too steep, but yeah. It's just a little bit, and N1's gonna roll back, and we have our auto brake set up for landing anyway, so we're gonna arm those speed brakes from now, just so that we have those ready. So I haven't heard FS Lab sound, so I can't really judge them. I also don't really have the plane because I don't even have the simulator that it was made for. But honestly, I wonder if FS Labs is like planning to make aircraft for MSFS or something. I mean, I'm not aware of anything that they've done for Microsoft Flight Sim products or anything. I'm not really sure if the FS Labs Airbus family was also compatible with P3D, because like P3D was basically also kind of FSX. Like they kind of bundled P3D, and any P3D add-on was also compatible with FSX for some reason. FS Labs go, okay, cool. Because we need an A319 and A321, like a really solid A319 and 321 in MSFS pretty badly. And I'm not really sure what other aircraft they've done, but they could definitely do something there with that, I guess. I just realized maybe it's because it's nighttime, but we haven't really checked out any external views the entire flight or window views. We might on approach. This is gonna be a very dark descent. That's the only thing I don't really like about X-Plane night lighting. It's just pitch black, and I'm pretty sure like, whoa, okay, yeah, it's part of the wall. But MSFS kind of did like a better job with night lighting. I think it's like a little bit more lit up. Like, well, I don't even know if it's realistically that lit up, but yeah, to be honest, I kind of like MSFS night lighting more because it's like you can see a little bit more of the night. Well, it's also bright enough to see what's going on. Yeah, well, I would agree and disagree as well. Like, I know it looks like this in real life, but it only looks like this in high altitudes. In lower altitudes, it looks a little bit more like Microsoft Flight Sim because, you know, the bloom. Actually, Thompson from Laminar Research on the FS Elite interview they said that they were going to be adding bloom to X-Plane 12 version 0.6. So 12.06 is going to have bloom, which is pretty crazy. And the volumetric fog and rain effects is absolutely insane as well. Like, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Super excited. But yeah, it's like when you're approaching from the air, this is realistic. But like when you're closer to the ground, yeah, that's what I said. MSFS night lighting looks better. But like when you're approaching from the ground, like MSFS has modeled the bloom effects much better than X-Plane did here. So it's not pitch black, like it's not really like that. Like you see a little bit of bloom like when it's well illuminated, a well illuminated nighttime environment. It's not just pitch black, you know. And that reminds me, I need to set up my stuff here. It's bloom and volumetric fog and rain effects. That's what we should be expecting for X-Plane 12.06. So the temperature is going to be 22 degrees at Philadelphia today. 2976 for the altimeter. And it's going to be, winds are calm, so I'm just going to do 0 at 0. 250 for the minimum, just and here we go. So 2976, let's set up our altimeters now. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. And we are all set. Yeah. Well, this darkness is realistic. This darkness right now is sort of realistic, but it needs a bloom. However, it gets way lighter when you start approaching the ground. Like it's not just a bunch of bright dots like these ones. Like that's not real life night lighting. Like it's a little bit more like it kind of blends in. Like once you get closer to the ground, the lights kind of start partaking in the atmosphere, if you get what I mean. You know, with the bloom effects and all that stuff, it's obvious that X-Plane hasn't modeled that properly for night lighting. But yeah, the bloom stuff is definitely gonna help a lot, especially with this, because this looks weird. Okay, guys. Fasten seatbelt sign is gonna come on below 10,000 feet. Oh man, wait, is that a real life route? Atlanta to Honolulu on the 744? That would be sick, to be honest. Honestly, like, I can't really, it feels so illegal to think about the Delta 747-400 now that it's been retired since 2017. Like, I wish I flew on the Delta 747, but I just fell short of doing that, you know? Yeah. Honestly, I wish the Queen of the Skies flew for more time. That's how it should have been. But carbon emissions and fuel consumption and whatnot. I don't think Delta ever had 747-800s though. They had 400s, I'm sure, but 800s? I don't think they did. Anyway, let's seatbelt signs are coming on. We're approaching Philadelphia. We're coming in perpendicularly, if that's even a word. It's gonna be runway 9er right approach, and it's gonna be a ILS approach. So if we take a look at our RadNav page, the frequencies are in, the course is in. I'm pretty sure that's the right course and frequency. We can always check, of course, if they match. 9er right ILS, 109.3, course 87. It is 100% correct. So yeah, only 400s. 100% makes sense. It feels so wrong to stare at a Delta 747-800 like the SSG. The freaking SSG 747-800 liveries for Delta are so illegal. Like, why does it have to be like that, man? Come on. Gonna get that landing system sorted. Low auto brakes. All that stuff is set up as well for landing. Let's turn on our dome lights. Let's take a look. Okay. Sealy, I'm coming in 8,200 feet, 200 knots. I am totally flying the way I should. Although I would argue maybe I'm a little bit high. Yeah, so I'm starting to descend here. So I think this is a working weather radar, terrain radar, sorry. I thought you needed like an external plugin for that to work, but I think it was integrated by default, maybe. I accidentally just kind of yoinked my slide stick. I put it back. Our altitude is totally fine. We're within 20 miles of Philadelphia, and descent is looking definitely quite stable. I'm gonna start putting flaps down at around this point. Just waiting to go lower and to have some more visual ground reference. It's super dark around this area. I can't understand how we're not able to even see a single speck of light anywhere. Even if we go to external view, it's just pitch black everywhere. So we've got about 52 minutes on the chrono, so I guess SimBrief was right. I always ignore SimBrief's airtime predictions, but I guess it will be around 59 minutes. Yeah, hold on. So it's gonna be config full for landing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And yeah, okay. Cool. So we're making a return. Soon we're gonna start putting down a notch of flaps and stuff. We can start to see the road down there. So at least some light is visible from this point. Yeah. Starting to see a lot of light now. Light spots. And I'm assuming it's cloudy because they just disappear for no reason. Alright, we're making our way in now. Into Philadelphia. 9er right. ILS approach. And frames are starting to drop a little bit, but nothing too significant for the area. Alright, flaps are coming down a notch. Flaps 1. Ah, beautiful. It's super windy. Let's take a look at the METAR again. Yeah, so our ceiling right now is 1400 feet AGL, so there's an overcast cloud deck at 1400 feet AGL, according to the METAR. And we are indeed definitely losing some visibility at around this point at 3700 feet, so we are right inside of a cloud deck right now, kind of flying through it, basically. And yeah, flaps 2. You see they're coming down now. Oh, I set flaps 3. Well, that works for me. Let's go ahead and turn on approach mode. And I think we're about to intercept the localizer right about now. There we go. So there it is, and we also have glide slope alive. So we're gonna put our gear down just a moment here. Once it clears the star, once we have glide slope without the star, we're gonna go ahead and put our gear down. There it is, localizer has been captured, and glide slope should be any moment now. There it is, gear down. So you can kind of see we're at about 2,500 feet right now. I'm just kind of monitoring this approach. Flap full. There we go. Flaps are all the way down now. We're starting to make our way down now. I don't have visual reference of the runway just yet. I'm assuming it's because of the weather conditions. Should have bugged the heading thing. Oh, shut up, Lee. Lee, we intercepted the localizer anyway. What difference does it make? We're still making our way down to the runway. Okay. 130 FPM. Actually, I don't have a landing rate monitor. I will install that for the next stream. But for now, we're just kind of going to have to eyeball it. There we go. Alright, so yeah, my theory was correct. We don't see any cloud. Well, we're not flying through clouds right now because we are below the ceiling. And yeah, I see the runway. I have the runway in sight. There it is. Let's go ahead and disconnect the autopilot as soon as we hit 1,000 feet. Check the cabin. I think we checked it a little bit too late. Oh, there. Nice. That is dope. That right there is due to the current. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the humidity. My sight stick autopilot button wasn't working, that's why. Had to click it manually on the FCU. But yeah, I can't remember exactly what it had to do, but certain values match and they make that cool wingtip fence effect. Maybe Lee will know exactly the term. I can't remember. Okay, we are low. Let's bring this up a little bit. There we go. Let's get the diamond in the middle. There we go. Pitch down a little bit more now. We don't want to go too high.
100 above.
Pitch up a little bit. Okay.
Minimum.
Landing. Oh. Floated her a little bit. Whoops. Yeah, that was definitely a float. That was totally on me. But we made it down. 500? No, 125. Yeah, that was a big float. But we made it down. Well, I'm not really visual because I'm actually supposed to follow the poppies until I'm close enough, and I determined that I was close enough just just a couple 100 feet before the threshold. So yeah, you're kind of right as well. But anyway, welcome to Philadelphia. We are currently making our way to the gates. Yep, floated her just a tad because we were literally, I thought we were gonna smash this thing on the pavement, but turns out that we had just about enough time. If I had just pulled back a little bit more gently, it would have been a perfect landing, but to be honest, let's take a look. Maybe we'll be able to take a look at the replay and actually, you know, determine whether or not that landing was that bad. I think it was pretty bad because of the float. But in terms of the touchdown, it was relatively smooth, so. But yeah, I am a firm believer of if your touchdown was smooth but your float wasn't good, your entire landing wasn't good. Just trust me, that's just a fact. But yeah, Yeah, that's off. Okay. Strobe's off. Yep. And brakes might be hot. Let's turn on the fans just in case. The real hats, welcome aboard. You missed the entire flight. But that's okay. You can watch the replay. You also missed my terrible landing. Actually, I was actually on point with the speed this time, but I floated it a little bit. The touchdown was smooth, but I still floated it. I'm not really sure what's up with the static aircraft not showing up. I don't think I think I have that setting disabled actually. Yeah, I have that disabled. That's why they don't show up. But yeah. We'll just make our way into one of these. Actually, let's make it here. Let's park here in Bravo 15. So we have working SAM marshallers here. Going a little too fast. Slow down, slow down. There we go. Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that. That's pretty neat. Oh, there we go. Wait, what? Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, are you kidding me? This guy wants us to pull forward. I'm just gonna pull forward a little bit more. There we go. I think we're good now. So parking brake is on, APU is on, and forgot to bring these up. We'll just do that right now. Now let's make sure we switch all these lights off once we are done bringing those up. There we go. Okay. So, engine 1 and 2 off, and let's go ahead and shut down our fuel pumps. And that gate right there should soon start docking to the aircraft itself. Let's turn our beacon light off. I think that's when it starts docking. But yeah, let's go ahead and... Oh wait, no, it's that gate. Wait, what? What did I just see? That was kind of funny. Okay. Anyway, a gate is a gate. I thought that gate was speed 13, but I guess not. Let's get our gears turned off, and yeah, let's just... I think we're pretty much all set here. Let's go ahead and watch the replay of that landing. I'm pretty curious to see how that went, to be honest. But yeah, welcome to Philadelphia. Before we check out the landing replay, because you guys know that sometimes when we've tried to check out landing replays, the sim has crashed. So before that happens, we're gonna check out Philadelphia at night. Night lighting is fantastic. It definitely looks realistic. The strength of the lights and how it spills, I definitely am a big fan of that, and the runway lighting and all that stuff looks very accurate as well. And it's all dynamic as well, so all these lights are dynamic at-plane lights, and you can kind of notice the dynamic lighting is also present on top of the garages and stuff, and near this entire surrounding area, and even in some buildings, which is also pretty neat. The touchscreen is definitely quite solid, and StarSim Philadelphia also features some really nice interiors, which I am a big fan of. Here in... Well, okay. So I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion on interiors. So I typically don't really like when scenery developers add interiors, because it usually like it's not all that necessary. but in this case, StarSim definitely nailed this interior in terms of not only detail, because you know it has PBR. You can see PBR materials throughout the entire thing, inside and outside of the terminal, but it's also definitely very performance friendly. Yeah. So, and they're actually present in most parts of the airport. If we just take a look here in this lower part and further along this concourse, it all looks super nice, super well modeled. And all the buildings have PBR as far as I know. At least the terminals do feature that as well. And yeah, these are very well optimized, so like don't be scared if you think these are gonna screw with your frames. Maybe they will a little bit, but most of what's killing or well, more like reducing the frame rate is the dynamic lighting. That would be my guess, at least, because my CPU isn't particularly the best CPU in the world. I mean, it's still a really powerful CPU, but dynamic lights affect the CPU most of all. So yeah, that might be like, if you don't have a great CPU, that might hit your frames a little bit at night. Not only on this airport, but any airport in particular. So yeah. But the ground textures are fantastic. We can't see them right now because it's nighttime, but if we just switch to daytime real quick, you'll be able to notice that the textures are very well done, and the ortho imagery is of very high quality as well. So right now we were flying with real life, like nighttime and weather, but we switched to daytime just to take a look at the textures in the buildings, and I'm pretty sure this is manually animated train system as well, train shuttle system, and it looks very good. This entire terminal, all the fingers of the terminal, and the detail on them is very well done, of course. And honestly, I think this is a very enjoyable airport to fly into. Like, there's rarely been times in which I feel like there's something that breaks immersion, because everything's just so well made that it makes you feel like you're actually at Philadelphia, flying into Philadelphia. Of course, the lack of static aircraft is due to a setting I have turned on right now in my graphics. If you have this enabled, you're going to see the aircraft. Otherwise, you're probably not going to see them. That's one thing. But yeah, the ortho imagery is super solid. The ground textures are also very solid. It's a very good scenery. It's all accurate as well, and it's updated to the latest layout as well. So it's definitely I would say that it is a walk around scenery, because like if you take a look up close in some areas, you can notice how well StarSim paid attention to the detail with all the clutter he added around the areas, and how well he represented and rendered certain parts of the airport with the detail that it's supposed to have. He did not slack on this one. I am 100% sure. And I had his St. Louis scenery, which we did check out last year, and this is honestly a huge step up in quality from that one, in terms of ground textures and buildings as well. It is a fantastic airport, to be honest. I would highly recommend it to anyone who's just looking for more airports in the East Coast. You have options inside of the US, and even some international routes coming in from like Ireland and those types of airports. So yeah, so I was gonna check out the replay, but we're just gonna go ahead and end the stream. End it now. But next time, yeah. And also the ToLiss kind of has issues with the replay mode. I haven't quite been able to sort that out yet. So let's go ahead and roll the outro music. So yeah, for those of you who joined and who stayed up until the end, highly appreciate you guys for joining and for checking out the stream. This was actually like the first stream this year in which I haven't had issues particularly, other than the flare and landing. This entire stream was just very smooth. So yeah, I appreciate all of you guys for being here and for checking out the stream and for sticking up until the end. And if you do have suggestions for a future flight, you should join my Discord and let me know, because I definitely need suggestions. But yeah, thank you guys once again so much for watching. We'll definitely be flying on VATSIM soon, and yeah, let's go ahead and